Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Welcome to my video. In this video, I'm going to solve a problem, namely problem set on capital asset pricing model, which is also known as CAPM model. This problem is taken from my professor, Dr. Mohammad Sadiqul Chaudhury's problem set 02. Assets under uncertainty, and this is question number 5. Now the problem is given in the screen. You can see that the given information is: suppose two stocks A and B both have the same expected return of 12%. The risk-free rate of return is 4% and the market return is 10%. And stock A has a beta of 1.0 while stock B has a beta of 2.0. This is given information about the stock A and stock B, and we have to solve 3 problems. And problem A is, according to the CAPM model, are both stocks fairly priced? Problem B is, if not, which stock is underpriced or overpriced? And problem C is, explain how an arbitrage opportunity could be constructed in this situation. For simplicity purpose, we reviewed this information in the next slide, problem overview, which is given in the question. Then we can construct the CAPM model easily using these values. Here, 2 stocks, stock A and B, expected return from both stocks is 12%, risk-free rate RF is 4%, market return RM is 10%, stock. The beta from stock A is 1.0 and the beta for stock B is 2.0. Now we solve the problems. Problem A is given. According to the capital asset pricing model, CAPM, are both stocks fairly priced. Now, if we substitute the values given in the question in the formula for CAPM model, which is E of Ri is equal to Rf plus beta I of Rm minus Rf. This is the formula for CAPM. We can get the required return using the CAPM formula. And for problem A, if we use the values given in the question for A in the formula of CAPM model, here you can see I identified the formula where we used the values for stock A. Here, the required return from CAPM is 10%, and stock B is showing that the CAPM required return is 16%. And we see that both stocks are not fairly priced because these 2 stocks, stock A and stock B, is not giving the same required return using the CAPM formula. Note that here in the CAPM formula, we used the term beta. Beta stands for the beta determines required return based on risk. That means if a stock is risky, then how much required return from this stock? Okay. Our main work is to compare actual return versus CAPM required return for solution of B. Problem B states that if not, which stock is underpriced or overpriced? That means if CAPM model, according to the CAPM model, stock A and stock B are not fairly priced, then which one is underpriced or overpriced? To solve the problem B, we used the CAPM formula for stock A. and substituting the values given in the question, we get that the required CAPM return is 10%. Here, we used CAPM formula and we substitute the values of stock A into the CAPM model or CAPM formula. And using these values, we get the CAPM required return 10%. Here you can see in the screen, CAPM required return is 10% and actual expected return is equal to 12%, which is given in the question. Now we can decide either underprice or overprice based on actual return with respect to required return. If the actual return is greater than required return, then the stock is underpriced. That means you are getting more return than required. And we can conclude that stock A is underpriced based on the CAPM required return rate. And for stock B, we again used the values given in the questions in the CAPM formula. Using or substituting the values of stock B into the CAPM formula, we get that the required CAPM return is 16% for stock B. And the actual expected return for stock B is 12%, which is given in the question. Now we can make a decision that when actual return is lower than or less than the required CAPM return, the stock is overpriced. That means you are getting less return than required. And we can conclude that stock B is overpriced. And this conclusion is based on the CAPM formula and expected return, which is given in the question. Now, we summarize this solution in this slide so that we can you can see easily. Okay, here that you can see that for stock A, CAPM return is 10%, which is expected return. Sorry, which is required return for CAPM required return, and this is actual return, which is expected market return in the question. And if the actual return is greater than the CAPM return, the stock is underpriced. And for that reason, stock A is underpriced. And in B, CAPM required return is greater than actual return. And thus, stock B is overpriced. Okay, let's see next. In this diagram, we sketch security market line SML using CAPM return and actual return, stock A and stock B, and the upward sloping curve is for CAPM return, and the parallel to the horizontal line is actual return for the stock. And let's see. Okay, our problem C was about that explain how an arbitrage opportunity could be constructed in this situation. That means when in the stock market, one stock is overpriced or underpriced, in this situation, how an arbitrage opportunity could be constructed in this situation. Okay. In this situation, in the stock market, arbitrage opportunity created, that is, go long for stock A. That means buy stock A, because stock A provides higher return than the required return. That means if you purchase stock A, you may earn profits from stock A. And for stock B, the decision is go short. That means sell the stock, because the return from stock B is lower than the required CAPM return. And selling the stock B, you may reduce your loss. And what our arbitrage opportunity creates? It creates risk-adjusted excess return. We can conclude that. Okay. Next, how market is adjusted in this situation? In this situation, arbitrage pressure is created. Stock A price rises, which tends to return fall towards 10%. That's mean for stock A, price rises and return falls toward 10%. And for B, price falls and return rises towards 16%. And the equilibrium is met both aligned with security market line, which is SML, security market line. Okay. This is the last slide of my presentation in this video. This is the conclusion part for 3 problems. This is keynote. For A, we can conclude that both stocks A and stock B is not or are not fairly priced. And for problem B, stock A is underpriced and stock B is overpriced because required return is greater than the expected or actual return. Okay. And the last one is arbitrage opportunity. Say that buy stock A and sell stock B for your profit maximization purposes. Okay, that's all today. Thank you so much for watching my video. Assalamu alaikum.